Welcome in, everybody. Welcome back to LTL True Crime. I just got finished on another live stream, and I thought that I would stoke this one up because I did some research into Savanah Soto's case earlier today, and I was looking at the um, surveillance video that has been released, and just kind of combing through it. I dropped a video about this earlier today. We'll get to the video. I think we'll go through it. Of course, we're going to go through it, but I want to give some context as to what's going on here. So I was looking at the video a little bit closer today, enhancing it, and I possibly think that there is a third person that is involved in this horrible, ridiculous tragedy. But we'll get some context as to what I'm talking about, the case, some of the press conferences, and then we'll pull up that video and go through it. Not going to be a super long live tonight, maybe around an hour. So if you can hang out for an hour with me, that would be great. But I definitely wanted to give this some spotlight because I think it deserves it. I think people need to know about it. And it's sad. I mean, it's almost a week now. They haven't caught anybody, but they have people that they are eyeing. They just don't know who they are. And Savanah and her family and her boyfriend's family, need our help. So let's pull this up here and we'll go through this a little bit. This is from the Daily Mail. It says, these sites are just insane with the pop-ups. Pregnant teenager Savanah Nicole Soto and boyfriend are found dead in car in Texas 2 days after she vanished when she was due to be induced into labor. And it goes into say Savanah Nicole Soto, 18, and her boyfriend Matthew Guerra, 22, vanished on December 23rd. The couple's bodies were found inside a vehicle on the northwest side of Colinas Medical Apartments in San Antonio. Sorry, my reading is terrible tonight. Soto was last seen in her Leon Valley apartment and was described to be a imminent danger or involuntary disappearance, according to authorities. The 9 months pregnant teenager never showed up at the hospital where she was scheduled to be induced on Saturday at 6:30 p.m. And I think they put out what's called a clear alert for her. And that's where everybody started to kind of worry. So it goes into say San Antonio Police Chief William McManus said the department will work with the Leon Valley Police Department to investigate her death. McManus told reporters that the crime scene is very complex and perplexing. He said detectives right now are looking at this as a possible murder, but we don't know for sure. I mean, I think you do. I think we can call it what it is. I mean, judging on the nature of the crime. McManus also said the police did not know who located the vehicle and cannot clarify if the child had survived. It's just awful. Marina DeLongo, who claims to be the deceased teenager's sister-in-law, posted on Facebook that Soto's body had been found earlier the evening and that she was in a bad condition. Delgado later requested that the family to be allowed to grieve. Savanah was so happy because she was going to be a mommy. It breaks my heart, Soto's mother, Gloria Govano, said previously to Ken S5. Please come home. No one's going to judge you. No one's going to say anything. Cordova said, I just want you to be home. The Leon Valley Police Department had issued a clear alert on Monday for Soto, described as a white female, 5 feet 1 inch tall, weighing 115 pounds, in brown hair and brown eyes. The heartbroken mom said that she last heard from her daughter on December 22nd, but failed to reach her on Saturday when she decided to check on Soto at her apartment in San Antonio. I went by there and knocked, and she wasn't answering, Cordova said. We got to the hospital and they said she wasn't there. Gosh, it's just so tragic. Cordova said Soto was ready to become a mom. She had a nursery done and planned on giving birth with her mother in the delivery room. And you have some photos of her and her boyfriend. Just crazy. Shocking. We don't even know what happened, they said. It could be anything, Cordova said, adding that her daughter would never disappear like this. Cordova had taken to social media and asked for help by posting photos of pregnant Soto. We are worried about her safety, she said, with her boyfriend, who is no good. The desperate mom had written in a Facebook post that bizarre disappearance of Soto elicited an overwhelming response of social media users, with a Facebook group being formed in search of a teenager. More than 17,000 users joined the Find Savanah Soto discussion group as the social media used frivolity searched for clues that could possibly lead to Soto's disappearance. The decision under hashtag Savanah Soto has garnered more than 7 million views on TikTok as of Tuesday noon. Social media users have accused Soto's boyfriend, Guerra, of abuse, citing that bruises and marks they observed on Soto in her TikTok videos. All right, so that gives us a little bit of a background. We have a video that came out from Live Now on Fox. I'll play that here. This was 6 days ago.
Antonio, Texas next, where we're getting new information from police after a pregnant teen who had been missing
haven't heard anything about
since
that, Dave.
Friday was found dead on Tuesday in San Antonio, along with her boyfriend. Family confirming that 18-year-old Savanah Soto and her boyfriend were found dead in a car at some medical apartments located in San Antonio. Soto was 9 months pregnant and a week past her due date, according to her family. Now we're hearing from San Antonio police as they've put this out on X earlier today, saying that anyone with information on this dark-colored pickup truck with a bed cover or the two persons of interest seen in this video is encouraged to contact authorities. You can also remain anonymous when providing information in this case. But you'll remember during that news conference on Tuesday, as we brought it to you live, police described this case as very...
I know there's been some ring footage that's been released, and a lot of people have been kind of contemplating the actions of what's gone on in that. I'll be honest with you, they didn't really get a ton of time today to dive into that. And maybe something that I explore, but I'm seeing a lot of that video that's out there as well. I was more interested in this surveillance video, and I'm going to show you what I did to it. And, like I said, I dropped a video on this earlier today, but I wanted to do this live so I could get some reaction from the audience and see what you think.
Very perplexing. And so we're starting to learn a little bit more and more about it. But you can see this truck that they're referring to here, as well as two individuals at the beginning of the clip.
I think there's 3. I don't think there's just 2 individuals.
So they're really trying to get a lot of information here as to what happened in this interaction between the two vehicles. Of course, this comes after the tragic news that both were found dead on Tuesday. And police also implied at the time that they may have been there for several days.
I don't tend to worry about videos that get released. This is the most important thing, because that's her boyfriend's car. Someone's driving it that looks either like a male with long hair or a female. You have this very heavy set person that I call persons of interest number 2. We'll get into it. You'll see the video here in a couple minutes.
Before they were located. So let's bring you out to this update from San Antonio police as they spoke this afternoon.
Over it again anyway, briefly. Because this is an open investigation, I'm not going to answer questions unless it's to confirm something I've just said, but I'm not going to answer questions that may get into the details of the investigation. So first of all, I want to extend condolences to the families of both Savanah and Matthew. I also want to reassure them that detectives are doing everything that they can do to solve this case. Savanah Soto and 22-year-old Matthew Guerra were reported missing by Leon Valley on 12/23/23. A clear alert was issued for Savannah.
I think it's just local
DPS
right now,
because
Dave.
it met the criteria for.
But there have been some updates. I'm going to play that video in a minute. They just actually updated about 11 hours ago this morning, so we'll have some new updates.
Clear alert to be issued. Right now. Clear stands for the state's Coordinated Law Enforcement Adult Rescue Alert Program. Families of both victims reached out to SAPD on the 23rd to make a police report, but we had learned that Leon Valley had already taken a missing person report. Savanah and Matthew resided in Leon Valley.
I'm wondering if someone came to the house, let's just say he's not a good guy. Let's just say, judging by the photo, big stack of cash. And again, I'm just making a blanket statement here. This is just my opinion, my just throwing things off the top of my head. Maybe he's involved in some illicit activities. Someone came there to possibly collect some money or some other things, and there might have been a fight, maybe in the apartment or somewhere where these people met, because apparently no one had heard or seen anything, and something went down, and maybe Savanah was kind of just, you know, as a witness, and in this situation, there can't be any witnesses. So I don't know. You know, that's, I think, the big mystery and the twist and turn on all of this. You know, we really don't know. All we know is that someone was driving her boyfriend Matt's car, and we have the surveillance footage. And I believe that there's possibly 3 people involved in that video. In that video, there's 3 people.
In Leon Valley's jurisdiction, and were last seen in Leon Valley. Therefore, Leon Valley was the reporting jurisdiction. Officers did document details provided by the family members under an SAPD information report.
Could be.
On the 26th at about 4 o'clock, SAPD was called to assist Leon Valley PD at 5903 Danny K. Leon Valley was requesting assistance. Families of both victims were at the location and reported to Leon Valley PD that earlier in the day, they received information that the missing gray Kia Optima was at the Danny K address. When police arrived, they discovered 2 people in the Kia. EMS was called to the scene, and they pronounced both victims at the scene. It appeared that the vehicle had been located at that location for several days. The medical examiner had identified 22-year-old Matthew as one of the deceased victims in the vehicle, and he died from a gunshot wound to the head. The manner of that death is still pending. The second deceased victim has not yet been officially identified by the medical examiner. However, I think we can be confident that that second victim was Savanah. This case is being investigated as a capital murder case. Detectives right now are combing through days of surveillance video from several different locations that the victims were known to be, where the victims were known to be.
That's a good theory.
Detectives are hopeful that surveillance video will lead to the events leading up to their death. Detectives are also combing through social media and cell phone records to determine the last communications with the victims. We have a video here that we're going to share with you. We have already put it out on social media. You may have already seen it, but we're going to run this video here today. We are hoping that someone is able to identify the individuals that are seen in this video. If anyone has any information regarding what they may see in this video, we would ask that you call homicide on 207-7635. You can remain anonymous. You do not have to give your name. The video was taken from a nearby location where the bodies were located. And finally, here is a slowed down image of the first person of interest getting out of the Chevy Silverado that is seen next to the Kia.
We're going to
see a clear there'll be another
video of that, the one that I did this afternoon.
Of the second person of interest getting out of the victim's Kia Optima.
You'll see it, Dave.
Once you've looked at the video, I will take a few questions. Again, only to clarify what I've said, if you're not quite sure about it, but I will not take questions other than what I've just talked about because the investigation is still active.
Chief, you said that ME said that for Matthew Guerra, it was a gunshot wound to the head, but when we called them, they said it's a contact gunshot wound. What does that mean?
It means that it was there. When we talk about the manner of death has not been determined, the manner meaning, was it a suicide or was it a murder? So that's what the ME has yet to officially put out.
So there's a possibility that this could be a murder-suicide?
That possibility exists, but right now we don't believe so unless we get information from the ME that would change our current course.
You don't believe so, and I wonder the callousness of all this. What is your message to the person or persons who may have committed this?
You know, somebody asked me that the other night, and I don't know what value that adds to this interview, what message I would put out. I mean, clearly, it was a heinous act. It was, you know, unspeakable, the tragedy of it. I mean, what message would I give to those folks? I mean, I don't see what the value of that question is, but anyway.
And just to clarify, you were treating this as a homicide for both people?
It is a capital murder investigation.
For both victims?
Yes, right now, unless we get information that changes that.
And Chief, when was the surveillance video? Is this one from the 26th?
Say it again?
Where and when was this surveillance video taken?
A few days before
Yeah.
Days
the
before.
bodies were discovered.
And where was this? What's the address of this area?
Where what?
Where the
What's
bodies
that? Where's, is this where the bodies were discovered?
Very close to it,
Very
yes.
close to it.
I do see, I believe he is handing something to the driver of the pickup truck. Do we know anything about
I
that?
mean, that's what we're looking at. What we believe right now, it was something to wipe the side of the car down with. You know, we can't be 100% certain with that, but that's what we're studying in this video, and that's what we believe right now.
And do we believe that these people may have any links of some sort? Do we know what links they have?
I don't know that, and again, would be part of the investigation.
So just to be clear, the vehicle, the Kia Optima, that's the vehicle that they were found in.
Yes,
But the person that's getting out of the vehicle, you're saying out of the Kia Optima, is there somebody that gets out of that vehicle that you're trying to
Yes.
say?
yes,
And you don't believe it to be either Matthew or?
No.
Okay.
So
correct.
do you all believe that they were shot, the killings happened somewhere else and they drove the car and dumped it? in the
Well,
parking lot?
you know, again, I don't want to get into the
Double gunshot to the head. Well, single shot to the head. Both victims.
details other than what I've talked about here today. So the answer to that question would be yes. But other than that, again, I'm not going to answer questions that are outside of what I just talked about.
All right, so the police chief here in San Antonio getting right to the point with these updates they're providing at today's news conference
This is
regarding
about a week ago this
the
year.
death of Savanah Soto and her boyfriend, the pregnant teenager and her boyfriend who were found dead in San Antonio on Tuesday this week. The big piece of information here that police are talking about, again, is this video that they released.
All right, we're going to go over the video here in a minute. I just want to get the press conference from outside where the scene was. Here's McManus again. Let's play this.
Everybody ready?
Just 1 second.
So what I'm about to tell you,
Yes.
excuse me, what I'm about to tell you is
Yes, Scott.
is preliminary information and could change, quite possibly will change as detectives get further into the investigation. And what we're looking at right now, I think everybody knows the background on this, so I won't go into it. But what we're looking at right now is a very, very perplexing crime scene. And detectives right now are looking at this as a possible murder. And but we don't know for sure.
It's getting there, Dave. I think
So
you
again,
might have something.
because of the complexity, the complex crime scene. We can't say for sure what we have. Questions?
How many people were found? Are there people
Two.
inside the car?
There are two people in the car.
Are they dead?
No, I didn't see him.
They are deceased. And we believe that it is the missing woman and her boyfriend, but we can't confirm that right now officially until the medical examiner takes a look at the bodies and makes that determination as to their identity.
So that missing woman was pregnant. Do we have any update on the baby?
No, I mean, I can't say for sure. I'm not going to say anything officially about whether the person in the vehicle was pregnant or is pregnant. I can't say that officially, so I'm not going to.
So tragic.
Have to wait for the medical examiner to say anything officially. But we do believe that the two individuals are the female who was missing and her boyfriend.
Any weapon inside the car?
We don't know that yet. We have not been able to move the bodies.
Is it a Kia Optima?
Yes, it's the car that was described as the boyfriend's.
Did the family call in about the car?
Yes, family did.
You know how long
They were alerted that the car was here, and they phoned it in.
And that was around 4 o'clock?
I don't know exactly what time it came in.
you know how long they may
Oh,
have been
wow.
here for?
Thanks for the update.
We're thinking possibly for 3 or 4 days.
So who exactly found the car?
So wait,
I don't know exactly who found it.
did he say that they thought they were in the car for 3 or 4 days? Let's go back.
And that was around 4 o'clock?
I don't know exactly what time it came in.
You know how long they may have been here for?
We're thinking possibly for 3 or 4 days.
Wow.
So who exactly found the car?
I don't know exactly who found it, but the parents were alerted by someone or the family was alerted by someone who came across the vehicle.
Chief, we know that the clear alert obviously went out in Leon Valley, but there have been questions on why SAPD did not issue their own alert. Were you ever alerted to any idea that this could be within your jurisdiction?
I believe we became aware of it, but this being originating in Leon Valley, that's why it came out from there, the alert, clear alert.
Was there ever any indication that SAPD should have put out a clear alert of their own?
No.
So are y'all leading this investigation to the death? Is Leon Valley still involved in the investigation?
No, we are. If there's any information that Leon Valley has, our detectives will work with Leon Valley on that. But the case is an SAPD case right now.
What can you say to the Soto and the Guerra family who are here today?
What can I say to them? Exactly what I just told you.
What makes this complex that you said?
Pardon?
What makes this a complex?
I don't want to go into details about that.
Yeah, I heard he was not a good guy.
I will repeat that it appears to be a very complex crime scene, very perplexing crime scene.
And who lives here?
One more question, guys.
Was the FBI ever involved in this investigation, or is anybody else going to be involved with the complexity of it?
No, not unless we reach out to them, but no.
Chief, any of them live here, or why were they here? Do you know?
Anyway,
Do you know why they were here?
no, I don't.
Hey.
Thank y'all.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Okay, let's get the latest update. This was about 9 hours ago from Court TV. This is the latest, and then we're going to play that video. That's surveillance video, and I'll show you what I actually did to enhance it.
We're shining a spotlight on the death of a pregnant teenager whose murder is unsolved. Savanah Soto is her name, and her boyfriend's name is Matthew Guerra. They were both found shot to death in a parked car last week. Now, police have released this surveillance video here, saying that they're searching for 2 persons of interest right now in their murders. And you can see in the video, if you look closely,
I think there's 3, and I'm going to show you why I think there's 3. Let's play through this, and I'm going to show you.
the couple's Kia Optima. It first slowly approaches that pickup truck. Briefly, there's interaction with the driver. Somebody gets out of the Kia, but it's unclear where they go. The Kia then leaves the scene, and police are investigating this case as a capital murder. And at a press conference on December 28th, the chief of police walked the public through what we know so far. Take a look.
Savanah Soto and 22-year-old Matthew Guerra were reported missing by Leon Valley.
I think it's 3.
On 12/23/23. A clear alert was issued for Savanah by DPS because it met the criteria for a clear alert to be issued. CLEAR stands for the state's Coordinated Law Enforcement Adult Rescue Alert Program. Families of both victims reached out to SAPD on the 23rd.
In the interest of time, I'm just going to speed this up because we've already heard it. So we'll go back to the court TV. Here we go.
You know, unspeakable, the tragedy of it.
I have two great guests to help me do some analysis now. I want to bring them in. Forensic death investigator, professor, and the host of the Body Bags podcast, Joseph Scott Morgan, and former DEA supervisory special agent, Michael Wilhite. Good morning to you, gentlemen. Thank you for being on the show. I want to play a clip from that same press conference and start here where the chief of police is saying this crime scene is quite complex. Let's take a listen to what he said, and I want to get your reactions and thoughts.
What we're looking at right now is a very, very perplexing crime scene. And detectives right now are looking at this as a possible murder, and but we don't know for sure. So again, because of the complexity, the complex crime scene, we can't say for sure what we have.
Well, this is no doubt a head scratcher. Joseph Scott Morgan, would you kick off our conversation, please? What do you think may have happened here?
It's hard to say, and scenes involving vehicles are particularly complex. I think that's one of the things that he is alluding to, Julie.
No,
is that if you have a motor vehicle, you essentially can have a crime scene on wheels. And I think the big question is, or were both of these vehicles, or were both of these victims rather, were they actually killed in this location, or were they killed and the vehicle with them in it was moved to said location? I think that's one of the complexities. And he also is not going into a lot of detail relative to the position of the bodies. All we know is that they are in the vehicle. We don't know where they are. There was some thought early on that this could be a murder-suicide. Generally, those are kind of very clearly stated. You know, when you walk up, you kind of observe these at the scene. But that's not the indication that we're getting here. It is complex, to say the least.
Right. Joseph, thank you for that. And I'm glad you brought up that point about how some are questioning this and saying, could it have been a suicide? And Savanah Soto's mother spoke out adamantly against this, talking to station KSAT, saying, and I'm quoting exactly, quote, "This is not like her. She was so excited to have this baby. The house was already baby ready. There was no reason why she would just get up and go off and do that. Savanah knows what I went through with Ethan, and I know she doesn't want me to go through this again," referencing the death of her younger brother. And so, with that being said, Michael Wilhite, let me go to you here, please. We know some are wondering, could this have been drug-related? Certainly, you're an expert in narcotics, having served so many years with the DEA. Tell me, is there anything about this case that says drug trafficking or something relating to drugs to you?
Hey, Ron, how are you?
Everything about this case speaks of drug trafficking, drug-related. I think before there was a photo of
Ron in the house.
Matthew holding a chunk of a wad of money, jewelry. I think he was holding up a gang sign too. Everything about this case thinks of drug trafficking in the area. I think that also there was, I think it was incidents where.
Yeah, and this neighborhood that this happened in is not to be a good neighborhood as well. There's a lot of activity around this neighborhood.
I think he was arrested on some charges too before. So there could be an incident where, you know, he tried to make a deal, place a deal to get out that case because he wanted to see his child born, and somebody retaliated. So everything about this speaks of drug trafficking. I've spent 30 plus years of law enforcement, state and federal.
Yeah, well,
23 of that is with the Drug Enforcement Administration, and everything about this case speaks of drug trafficking.
Wow, Michael Wilhite, I want to say, tell me more when you're saying that. I mean, this just seems so sad. Do you think, as a follow-up question to you, please, do you think that Savanah Soto and her unborn baby could have been collateral damage, so to speak, if she was with her boyfriend and not actively trafficking? But if he were the trafficker and someone was retaliating, could that be the case for her death?
From my experience, the girls that are involved in dealing with are involved with drug traffickers. they themselves might not be the primary trafficker, but they're definitely reaping the benefits of that lifestyle. The mere fact that whatever happened that night or that day that warranted the killing of Matthew, obviously the killers could not leave a witness, and she was a witness. She was part of that lifestyle.
Blake, I think we're just, we're just playing out the possible scenarios. I mean, it's just unfortunate. If this was a drug traffic transaction that went bad and this poor young girl and this poor young guy was in the wrong place at the wrong time, doing things with the wrong people, I mean, it is part of the case. So, we talk about it, we discuss it. I'm not getting down on anybody if they smoke weed, but this could be cocaine, it could be fentanyl, it could be heroin. All those things are horrible for you. They can kill you. So we really don't know. We know a little bit about Matt. Is alleged that he's been involved in illicit activities, gang activity, drug activity, and that's kind of what this is looking here. And just like Dave was saying, I think this young lady was in the wrong place at the wrong time. So it's pertinent to this case. It is something that needs to be discussed, and I'm sure this angle has been looked at by law enforcement as well. It's a terrible thing. Overall, it's terrible.
Whether or not she actually sold drugs, participated in it, she was part of that lifestyle.
And poor baby suffered
there
died
at the time that
was supposed to have the baby.
So what I'm saying, she definitely knew the lifestyle that he was involved in. She accepted that lifestyle. So, the birds of a feather flock together.
Right.
Michael, this is really illuminating everything you're saying. Yes.
It's sad that, of course, his lifestyle or their lifestyle end up costing the life of an unborn child.
Right. Joseph Scott Morgan, back to you. Let's say that these vehicles were moved, as you said before, that, maybe the killing happened at one location. And then how do you as an investigator backtrack and figure out where the killing occurred so that you can maybe gather evidence from that scene, maybe surveillance cameras in the area, something like that? Tell me kind of what you do, please.
Well, obviously surveillance, CCTV is going to be your fallback position here, but also certainly any kind of cellular devices that were on these individuals if they had them on them inside of the.
What I have to say, a lot of people pay attention now. Cell phone data is going to be the most important thing in a lot of these cases now. DNA and cell phone data are hand in hand now because this phone goes everywhere with everybody. It tells you everything. So you're going to start seeing a lot more of this cast information, the forensics on these phones, where these phones are taken. It's going to start telling a lot about these cases, who they're contacting, who they're messaging, who they're text messaging, who's on their social networks. I mean, the phone tells a lot. What the cash, if there's any cash or credit card transactions, everything.
Vehicle, and if this vehicle has some kind of tracking system where they could have followed it. But Julie, if I could make one point here,
please.
that goes to my colleague's point relative to drug involvement. I'm very fascinated about the cause and manner of death here. And when you begin to think about the male subject, the one thing that we know about his injuries, Julie, is that the ME is referring to his cause of death as a single, not multiple, but a single gunshot wound to the head. And not only is it a gunshot wound, Julie, they're saying this is a contact gunshot wound. And just kind of let me break this down for you. This is a dummy weapon that we use here at JSU in training. But if this is a contact event, that means that the muzzle, the end of the muzzle with this weapon would literally have to be in contact with his head when this thing was discharged. Okay. What does that tell us? Well, it tells us proximity, right? There had to be some physical contact between the perpetrator and the victim, the male victim in particular. This is not something that's done at a great distance. So this is somebody that has familiarity, somebody that is skilled, because if it's only a single gunshot wound, this is not something that's over the top, where you got a lot of overkill involving him. This is efficiency, okay? And if this is involved with some kind of tangential, drug trafficking or something like this, that would go to that violent lifestyle. So I'm really curious about that. And did this occur in the vehicle at this location? Were the windows down in the car? Because, I've worked a lot of cases involving shootings and cars, and people are shot through windows, sometimes random. You'll get, glass that is blasted inside of the car.
That was very
We don't know that yet. But the fact that they are saying that this is a contact gunshot wound to his head speaks volumes here. This is not some kind of randomized event.
Someone was there. Someone was there and they knew who these people were. Okay, let's take a look at the video that I put together here. I'm going to share it off Kapwing. It's a editing software that I use here online. I wish I could make this a lot bigger, but I can't. But we'll try to deal with it the best that I can here. I'm going to make myself probably a little smaller. There we go. All right. So what you're first going to see in this video is I'm just going to play through the regular surveillance video. And when it gets to the second part, I'll slow it down in halftime. And then you can see all my arrows and notations that I've put together. And it will explain kind of what's going on. And when we get to the area where I think that the third person possibly is, I'm going to kind of just back it up and play it a couple times and see if you can see what I'm seeing. And that will be zoomed in 50%. And then after that, I've zoomed into 100%. And when you get to 100%, things get a little broken up, pixely, but you can still see some things that are going on. There'll be arrows, but no notations. But let's do this first. So let me just open this up. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. And we'll just play through the regular video first. And then once we get to the 50%, I will slow it down to halftime. Imagine through a sound on the camera. Jeez, that would have been even better. Okay. And I'm going to kind of break it down and explain to what I'm seeing here. So the police did this enhancement, but I see some other things that are going on. That's the two people of interest, but I think there's a third, and I'm going to show you where I think there's a third. All right, this is going to be zoomed in at 50%. I'm going to open up the timeline here. I'm going to slow this down to half speed, and I'm going to show you what I think is going on. And this one will have arrows and notations. I'm just going to speed this up a little bit because it's going to take a minute. Okay, here we go here. So I've zoomed this in 50%. I call the car driver person of interest number one or subject number one, and you'll see the car come into frame here. Okay, here's the person of interest number one. That's the driver in this car. Now, I can't tell if that is a female or a male with long hair. I think it's possibly a female. So you have the car come up, and the thing I want you to notice here too is that before the car is even stopped, the car door is opening here. So the car door is open before it even stops. I'm just going to, I don't know what's going on here, but my notations got a little messed up. Car opens before stopping. That's what it should say. Let's see if I can get this to work. Come on. All right, I'm not going to spend too much more time on that. Ah, there we go. So the car door opens before it stops. Now you have person of interest number two. That's the driver of the truck. Okay, that's the driver of the truck. And you're going to see him get out, and they're going to make contact with that person that's driving this Savannah's boyfriend's car. Now, and it's going to be coming up here really soon. Doors open. They're going to have some conversation. And I'm sorry, this is halftime, but we'll get there. Excuse me. Okay. So now if you look here, a white object, which I'm guessing maybe a towel or a shirt, appears to be passed by the third person of interest. Now watch this. What I want you to keep an eye on is this white object right here. I don't know if it's a reflection or a marker on the side of the truck, has been stable the whole time. You're going to see this come into frame where you're going to see a towel or a white object come into frame here. It almost looks like it's being thrown to the heavyset person of interest number 2. Watch this. Bam, right there. See how it gets passed? And you can see it right there. See how it flips and flops out? Look at that. Right there. So he couldn't have grabbed it. He's not close enough to that area in the truck yet. So I think there's someone inside, and you can almost see his hand come into frame right here. And he reaches and grabs for the white towel, the object right here. See that? And again, I wish I could make this larger on the screen, but I'm inside a program on the web, so I can't. And when I try doing it with a regular video, it just doesn't break it down frame by frame as much as I need this. So we'll back it up. We're going to play it at regular halftime speed. There it is right there. See how it gets passed? Heavyset guy takes it. He's going to walk to the car. Does something with it. You can see him kind of folding it. It almost looks like he lays it down in the car. Almost looks like he lays it down in the car. He opens it up and lays it down. Now watch this. Maybe a sheet. Now you're going to see your second. Here's the driver of the car. They come out. Bam, right there. Now I can't tell if this is a woman or a male with long hair. I think it's a woman. Now here's something else you need to know. As the heavyset guy turns back to the truck, he has something in his hand. And you're going to see it pass by right here as he starts turning to the truck, and you get a clearer view of it right here when he goes in. So the object appears to be taken by the car, by the person of interest, number 2, and that's the driver of the truck. Here we go. Right there. Right here. Right in the hand right here. And you can see it right there. Boom. Right there. He put something inside the truck. I don't know if that's money. Could be drugs. Could be anything. Right there. He puts it in. So let's back up again. Right there. Right there. Bam. We'll go back. Right there. The car door closes and both vehicles are going to drive away. Now we're going to zoom in at 100%. I know it's going to be really hard to see, but we'll get we'll get an idea. So the police, this is their enhancement, and you're going to see that second person of interest here. Excuse me. And there's that second person of interest. All right, I'm going to go to 100 times here. You can see it there too. Right there. See this? Right there. They're bringing something back to the truck. See that? Let's go back. Ready? Watch this. Look at that. Right there. Could be money, could be drugs, could be anything. Evidence, a bag, clothing. And he flips it in the truck. Okay, let's go to 100 times. Going to be a little bit harder to see here because it's going to be pixelated, but we'll get a general idea. I do have the arrows for notation here. Let me just pull this super chat up. Oh, AZ, nice to see you, man. Hope you are well. Welcome into the live stream, and thank you so much for the $10. I appreciate it. Again, we don't know what it is. Again, I'm just saying could be drugs, could be the weapon, could be clothing, could be anything. I'm not the investigator, but these are things that I saw when I broke down the video. All right, let's play this out at 100 times. AZ, I got to reach out to you, man. See how things have been. Give you an update. All right, you'll see the arrows come in here. Again, it's a little bit tough to see, but I saw some movement here. I just think that was the car door moving. So here's looks like some conversation. There's that white object, the towel or sheet being passed. There's a third person. You can see the hand now too. Gets kind of passed like this. Almost looks like they open it up. And it's being placed down in the car. Here's the second person of interest that we know of, that we see on camera. I still think there's someone else in that truck. You're going to see the item pulled for the car. It's going to be moved to the car. There's your item right there. Items passed in to the truck. Heavyset guy is going to get in, pull away, and car is going to pull away. Tragic. Let's go back just one more time here. Right here. I just want to show this again. Right there. Right there. That little flop. It almost looks like you can see the hand. But that's being passed. All right, let's play this out one more time before we end the stream tonight. I appreciate everybody coming and supporting LTL tonight. Hopefully this gives you a little bit more clarity as to what's going on. These are just things that I see. I cannot confirm. I'm not law enforcement, but when I looked at this video today, this is something I definitely saw that was interesting in this video. I believe there are 3 people of interest that they need to be looking for, and possibly more. But I definitely think there's more than 2 people in this video. 2 in the truck, 1 in the car. Excuse me. And there we go. All right, both cars are going to pull off there. Again, these are I'm going to just adjust my camera here. See if I can get there we go. These are the things that I like to look into when I look at these surveillance videos. Is there anything else that's going on? Anything that we can see? And when I kind of just took about 20 minutes and started to go through, I noticed this. So, again, I'm not law enforcement. I'm not saying there's a third person. Actually, I am saying there's a third person, but you know what I mean. There's other people of interest, I believe, that there is a second person inside that truck that passed either that white towel or blanket, whatever it may be. And then obviously you can see that something is being taken from that car. Evidence, drugs, could be a weapon, whatever it is. But there's definitely something going on, obviously. And, you know, hopefully this case gets solved quickly. We want to find justice for Savanah and her boyfriend. It's awful. It's an awful thing. And that baby, that unborn baby, terrible, terrible, terrible. Okay, I'm going to end the stream. Like I said, just a short one tonight, just under an hour. And I appreciate everybody for jumping in. I'm tired. I'm going to get some rest. I will be back tomorrow. I'm sure there's going to be tons of streams going tomorrow, obviously talking about Karen Reed. And on Friday, I will be down at the courthouse. So I appreciate all the support. And that's going to end it. That's going to end the stream. Thank you all for being here. Late night, 10:30 here on the East Coast. Hope everybody has an amazing night. And I'll see you all back tomorrow at some point. Oh, yes, the Jeffrey Epstein list has dropped. I'm going to try to sort through that. Maybe I do a live on it once we get some clear definition as to what names are on there. I'm hearing a few now. I saw obviously Bill Clinton, Prince Andrew, David Copperfield was on there, and Donald Trump. So I don't know. We're going to look into it. We'll investigate it. Again, I appreciate everybody being here tonight. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe if it's your first time over here. I usually do my live streams at 8:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, just about every night. Please come back and check out LTL True Crime. Thanks, everybody. Have a good night. Bye-bye.